Okay, I heard about this contest from a friend who participated in its first edition actually in 2008, and she came full of very good impressions, and she suggested to anyone who was writing to give it a shot, why not? And so I heard about it in 2010, and I've been following, the editions, and the topics, but this particular topic really attracted my attention, and I decided to write something because I really felt I had something to say about it. Because in Croatia, well, youth future is a very unstable ground. There, especially because of youth unemployment. When people finish college in Croatia, they have really hard time finding a job, and even if they find it, they lose it very quickly, and it's very stressful because on one hand you need to decide what do you want to do in life, explore things and investigate, and on the other, the economical situation really is, like cutting your wings in a way. And also another thing, age discrimination is very strong in Croatia. It's paradoxical, but it's true. It's like every employer in Croatia is looking for a young person who has a lot of experience, because they don't accept young people without experience, and they don't accept old people with experience. Old being anything above 40. So it's really it's really hard to find a job in Croatia. You have to be some kind of super being with different talents and experiences and youth and energy and marital status even. So anyway, these all things combined sounded perfect for a topic with the title Youth, Future and the Dialogue between generations. So yeah, I used my own situation. So I was born in Bosnia, but my mother had to escape it during the war, and by the time we got back on our feet, built a house and everything, my mother was 40 something, and she lost the stable job that she had. And from that point, so since she was 45 up until 56 or even 7, she had all these just stupid jobs, like a babysitter, a cleaning lady. She could never find a proper job because she's already in the old group, let's say, in Croatia. And regardless of her qualifications, her age was the thing that prevented employers to take her. And now I'm finishing my studies. I've already started working as a teacher, but I'm facing a different type of anxiety. Now it's no longer the age discrimination so much as it is not having experience discrimination, because it's very hard for young people in Croatia to get ahead, to manage. So all this taken into consideration, I found a way to put it in an artistic expression, something not too direct, because a story should never be like a pamphlet or something. We're not writing political programs, we are writing pieces of art, but something that transmits this feeling of anxiety that I felt, that my mother felt, that people in Croatia feel constantly, but nevertheless story that finishes in a kind of a hopeful tone. So as I mentioned earlier in the presentations and seminars we had, I provided no answers actually about the burning problems, about the age discrimination and youth future, because I don't know the answers. Obviously, I'm 24 living in Croatia, what do I know? I just wanted to communicate to anyone who will read actually this the feeling of fear, but juxtapose against it the feeling of hope that manages to grow out nevertheless. Okay. First actually inspired, I wanted to write something about youth future and intergenerational dialogue, and sometimes around that period I found in the internet the article about this very funny particular tradition that was, I don't know which country was it in, but anyway, so when a family wanted to make family portraits with a photographer, like 100-150 years ago, they wanted to photograph each member separately, okay? So the mother, the father and the child, and very often the children were very little and playful. They didn't want to sit still and wait for the photographer to do their work. So the mother had to sit in a chair and cover herself with some kind of blanket or something, and then just hold the child still, so the child would be still for the photography. And I saw some of those photographs, and they're very bizarre because you can there are some photographs who are very successful, which are very successful if you can say it, but some are just ridiculous. You can obviously see the shape of the woman, and she's covered with blankets and children in front of her. It's weird. Anyway, so this was my starting motif, my starting inspiration, but I transform it into a matter of identity, because my field of topics and my motifs that I investigate most often in my poetry are the problems of identity. So I looked at this through the prism of let's say a child, a young person in this context, whose identity is being shaped in various ways, but the starting point of it is the relation with mother, obviously. I mean, many psychologists, psychoanalysts, analyticians will say that the relationship we have with our mother determines all the relationships we have in our life. So I started from this point. So the introduction of the story is dedicated to this practice of photography, and then through the story I describe how my mother lost many jobs, and how the main character of the story, her name is Katja, is just finishing her studies and doesn't know what to do. She's scared of staying in Croatia because things are so unstable. She doesn't feel any optimism about it, and she wants to go out and seek a job elsewhere. The mother is not very thrilled with that, because she thinks that the only people who go abroad are either scientists or like cleaning ladies and manual workers, and she doesn't see why Katja should do something like that. And then the two of them talk about this feeling of anxiety that you experience during your post-adolescence and when you're looking for the right path in your life, and they realize both that they actually share that feeling, and that her mother actually understood how Katja felt in that age. She mentioned something like the middle 20s being the most unstable period of her life as well. And so Katja decides to apply for an internship, and she ends up getting it. And so the story is approaching the end. So she's leaving from the airport. She's saying goodbye to her mother, and when she enters the plane, she sees that her trousers got dirty, and she picks up the dirt and see little spots of sand, and she just stares at this one little point of sand, and she's imagining like she's holding on to that point, and that mother point from the beginning, and so is transformed into this hope point at the end, on which she is clutching as she is making her way to the unknown. And so the story finishes there. So it's a hopeful ending, but but it's very open-end ending. So anything is possible after that. Yeah. I think that's wonderful. I feel really grateful and blessed to be given this opportunity. This morning we had the presentations on the stories were held by each contestant, and I realized as I was listening to them that regardless of the background, we shared a similar narrative, similar ideas, because a lot of them addressed some problems of their country or their personal problems, and the feelings of fear and disillusionment. Disillusionment is very important, but almost all the presentations ended in a sort of hopeful tone. So you can see that we were all following the same path, even though we didn't intend to present the situation as this, to present the problems, the things we see and problems, and then to hint at least that there is a sense of hope to be found. And we are all from different backgrounds, we do different things, but since we all obviously write at least in our free time, we do have some mutual points, shared interests. So some deal with languages, some with politics, some with journalism, We have also one already published author. He's an active publishing author. I think we have a couple of engineers. And anyway, but regardless of these differences, there are a lot of mutual interests. So we had the conversation is running very fluently. I find myself, just walking the streets of Barcelona and discussing Foucault and other French philosophers. So it's beautiful, really, to be able to meet people from other countries and see so many differences and yet so many similarities. It gives a stronger sense of a community on a global level, or at least Mediterranean level.